Solana price gains as Dogcoin Bonk fires up community interest. One of the things I want to say before we even start talking about this, we are in a bear market, you guys. Please do not chase green candles. If this is something that you did not get airdropped, you may want to sit on the sidelines. It is very, very risky to start dumping capital in. If you do decide to start dumping capital in, please use disposable income, not financial advice, but please be careful out there. Anyways, Solana has been on the decline since SBF was a predominant backer, because we all know that FTX, Alameda, all of those guys were kind of involved in that. And I still, disclosure, I have a moon bag of Solana, some Solana NFTs, and I will continue to hold that throughout this bear market because it's a moon bag. You never know. No risk for me. But Solana tokens have gained over 8% in the past 24 hours, and Solana got back up from under $10 back to $11 on Tuesday, following nearly 9 straight days of losses due to close leaks with SBF and Alameda. And now price recovery came in after a spike in interest among the Solana community for Bonk. Will, since you're making a face, you got to take this. Another meme coin, another S coin. Is this a real community token? Is this thing going to be okay? I mean, or is this just a, yeah.
I think your trail out there sort of indicates where the story is going to go. I mean, I learned about Bonk token about 15 minutes ago, and I assume most people who have airdropped it also learned about it maybe within the last 72 hours. So there's not really necessarily much of a story here besides another token is just spun up on a contract, and then it's airdropped to a bunch of people and has value because it has value somehow, and people are willing to purchase it and sell it. More or less are going to be selling on top of each other. So if you look at the chart there, you do see that it's going up and to the right. But what often happens here in these cases is you have a new token introduced, it gets airdropped to a lot of people. There's some notion of utility that they're trying to sell you, and then within a few days, there's a nice little turkey drop, and the price of the token goes to zero and doesn't really move from there. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but historically, that's what happens with all these airdrops. Now for Solana, which I think is the bigger story here, we should really be paying attention to. Solana is down quite a bit for a few reasons. One, its thesis running against Ethereum has not really worked out. Ethereum completed a lot of the things on its roadmap it needed to do, like the merge. Ethereum has also had a pretty strong price corresponding to like different tokens, where it's only dropped about 70% versus a lot of other tokens that are down 95%. So Ethereum has held really well. And the second bit about that is FTX and FTX, or SBF and FTX, excuse me, and the relationship there between the Solana Foundation, Solana developers, and FTX. That unwound back in November, and we actually look at the price chart. We'll see in early November, the price of Solana dropped tremendously when FTX crashed. A lot of that was because FTX actually sold off a lot of its Solana reserves, or I should say Alameda Research at the time, sold a lot of its Solana to defend its own token, FTT. But it's also because the relationship between Solana and FTX is widely known, and a lot of people became bearish on the project after that. So Solana has a lot of ground to make, and I don't think a meme token being airdropped to the community is going to resolve that. Zach, over to you.
Yeah, I think the bigger point there is absolutely spot on. The alt L1 thesis, right, that emerged out of the last bull cycle, Solunavax, right, Solana, Terra, AVAX, the thesis being that these speedy, cheap, alternate layer 1 blockchains that can do things like Ethereum, but potentially faster and more cheaply, that those would rise in prominence. It seems as though if Ethereum ends up transitioning, we've seen the transition to proof of stake, additional things are in the roadmap that'll make it easier, cheaper, quicker, faster, all the stuff that alt L1s sought to promise, right? So I think the alt L1 thesis is very much in question, certainly here in the bear market, and absolutely for the next time things turn around, right? Are these alt L1s going to emerge? You saw like Aptos and Sui emerge at potentially the worst possible time for these alt L1s, right? They emerged into the depths of this winter. Can they find their feet and find a value proposition that will make it stand out from a potentially stronger Ethereum? And I think that is the big question that a lot of investors are going to be thinking about going forward. And whether or not, you know, this short-term blip is ultimately seen in the long run, probably won't be. I think that's something that people are probably rightly asking here as well. Is this just a short-term little price surge, or is this going to, like, I don't know, drive utility across Solana more broadly? I don't know. I think the L1 story is definitely the more interesting story. But Bonk, it's a nice name. We like it. Bonk.
It is a nice name.
It's fun.
One of the things I want to chime in and say is that we are in a bear market, so most projects are down like 70 to 95% anyways, and Solana is down equally as much. We didn't see a full retrace with it, so it does, to me as a trader, that does show some sort of strength. But at the same time, we have so much that's going to be released, so much information that's going to be released probably about Solana, especially with SBF in court and everything that's going on with FTX and Alameda, that to me it's still a very, very risky investment. I do hope that it does okay, considering how many people built their projects on top of it and the big NFT community they have. But at the same time, price-wise, it's still down significantly, just like every other project. Like anything that's up right now in a market like this is generally a red flag for me.
Red flags, don't go chasing green candles. It's a TLC remix that we're going to do one day.
I was just going to say that we're old.
Love that. Love TLC.
Well,
don't go chasing waterfalls. Will, that was a song from the 90s. You may have been young at the time.